Welcome, my friends. Welcome. Welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and your host for tonight's 17th episode of Blood and Glory, a Pendragon campaign, A Father's Pride. I am, of course, joined by my castmates, who will now spend a moment to introduce themselves and share some terrible words of wisdom, I'm sure, while I play with my phone for a second to get everything else finalized. Talos, you're up.
What if I don't want to?
It's too late. You already started speaking.
Fuck.
Oh, really? Really? We made... What did we do? We made it 40 seconds in, you son of a bitch.
I don't think we even made it 40 seconds.
No, it was like 38, I think.
Isn't it,
Anyway.
isn't it so many seconds into a YouTube video before you can cuss?
I think it's actually on the order of minutes before you start losing monetization, but I'm not sure. Anyways, please help us extricate from this swirling demise that we're currently facing.
Cotton candy, ice cream, and list. Or go. You're next, Rev.
No, Rodance is next.
Why am I next? Just because I have a semblance of pretending to have my brain in order?
It's mostly to try to fend off the inevitable, to be totally honest.
Well, you, okay, let's see. My
You know,
cats have been entertained
Wow.
today.
Wow.
Sorry. Sorry.
Your cats have been
Yes, yes.
entertaining.
Yeah, they have stolen all of my straws.
That's
Oh.
funny, actually.
Yeah.
So were you on your last straw yet?
I know, right? And, sadly, they stole the last one.
Oh.
Those thieving bastards.
Pretty much.
Well, did I ruin your punchline? I'm sorry.
Yeah, they stole the last one. It's fine.
They stole the last one, just like he stole the last pun.
Did it break the camel's back, though?
All right, enough. Golly, man.
Those aren't puns. They're metaphors.
At this point, it's almost the same thing. Ro, did you have anything else? Since I'm keep talking over you.
I was setting Rev up for puns.
I had a feeling.
Took me a minute to think of one.
I mean, it's really not that hard to do, to be honest.
You just say something and I'll figure it out, probably.
Yeah, just run your mouth long enough. You'll have something.
You want to hear some tree puns?
Nope.
Can bark all day.
Alright, speaking of puns, do we have a 30 to 60 second ad read by chance?
Well, I was gonna do like a Sunday. It's a SmackDown but I'll save that for next week, depending on how the fight turns out.
No, now's the time to do it.
Oh.
Well, you know, like sometimes when you're watching like the late night or the early morning TV and they have ads,
Yeah.
for, like an event that's already happened.
Oh, I see where you're going with it. Okay, looking at it from that perspective, from the past into the future, that makes sense.
Look, basically, all of the commercials you've seen so far are like cheap, like 2 a.m. TV commercials, right?
Yeah.
So that's the vibe I'm going for.
Gotcha. Alright, well, if that's all you've got, I'm ready to go. Now the question is Rev on the table? Rev is on the table, which means I need to give him some reroll tokens.
I'm on the table and ready to dance.
Oh,
No,
no,
okay.
please, no, just fucking Christ, just stop. All right. Oddly enough, as everybody was going through their little, not at all pre-rehearsed intros, I realized I never actually wrote a recap. So this recap, my friends, is going to be fresh and straight off the cuff. Last week we had Easter Feast 489, and among other things that have happened, a duel was arranged because of slanderous phraseology brought forth by Sir Enric and two others who happen to be knights of the county of Silchester. And when approached by Sir Dallin and Sir Everhart, words were exchanged, heated moment, a knife stabbed a table, that poor table that didn't do anything but hold people's food in place. People were outraged. A duel was arranged between Sir Enric and Sir Everhart. Among other things... yes, in which Sir Everhart received a talisman from Earl Roderick, his liege lord, indicating his support in the duel. We also had Sir Eoric, brother of Sir Vitamar, chafing under the leadership of Sir Vitamar and his choices to remain in the good... Well, no, I don't want to say it like that. To remain in favor of letting young... Oh, God. Farwin be the new lord when he turns of age in another 15 years or so. And I think that really pretty much wraps it up. So we actually takes us right up to the very first scene. It is basically noon the following day. We have basically a crowd is assembled. The king, his dukes and earls, as well as much of the rest of the land's knights, or at least those curious about the duel, are all present outside the fields, or excuse me, on the fields outside the country. Oh my god. I'm gonna try that again. On the fields outside the castle just before noon. Sir Enric, a young knight with a hulking presence while in his armor, stands ready at one end of a small clearing, bordered by the people who have gathered to watch. Standing beside him is a second, Sir Gwion, a young knight who appears fidgety with a slender physique, quick eyes, and long, thin red hair. To one side, on something of a raised platform, sits the king, Duke Ulfius, O'Roderick, and Sir Blaines of Levcomagus. There is a notable tension between Blaines and Roderick. Anybody want to try to deduce that one? By all means, this is the time.
Wait, isn't Blaine's the Lord of the Knight I'm fighting?
Blaines is the steward of Levcomagus, so one could argue that he is indeed the liege lord of Sir Enric and Sir Gwion.
Well, it was also his shit talking that prompted us to get into this, so...
And we cut to a quick flashback towards the end of the feast. After all the things that happened that led to this duel here and now, we see Sir Blaines, obviously in his drinks for the night, passing by Sir Dallin and Sir Medwin, Dallin's half-brother, and a stupid sneer on his face, and a under-the-breath muttered comment about infidelity, and something else about how you Salisbury Knights are garbage.
Hold the phone.
You hold the phone. What's up?
Did he imply through that drunken comment that Roderick won the heart of what's-her-face through infidelity?
No. Nope. He was referring specifically to Medwin and in his
Well, I know that.
rumored infidelity.
Well, I knew that was the obvious thing, but like, was he also implying that like in the competition between him and Roderick for the lady's affections, that there was some infidelity that took place there?
No. I guess one could argue that at this point, whatever rivalry was between Blaines and Roderick back in the day has now evolved into a rivalry between Silchester and Salisbury people, especially amongst the chivalry, or the knights, for those that don't realize that chivalry can refer to a body of knights. But yes. Duke Ulfius, are you guys ready? Are we ready for the fight? It's just going to be a couple of dice rolls, I think.
I believe so.
Anybody have any pressing matters that they feel the need to attend to right here and now before the Slash Fest begins?
I'm just interested in watching. That's it.
Okay. Sir Dallin?
I'm assuming I'm watching, since this would have been made notable by everyone already.
I feel like you should be there. I mean, we don't officially have this little knighthood thing or order of the people of Salisbury, like the one that oh god, Rev, what was it? The Morituri thing.
Say again?
The little Morituri circle that we were forming, for those about to die, blah 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 blah.
I was calling. I think the Brotherhood of Dead Men is, if that's what you mean.
Yes.
It's what I referred to it as.
Yes. So, and Vitamar is a member, is he not?
I don't. Did we agree? I have no idea.
We'll jump that bridge. In fact, I can actually work that into subsequent scenes.
Yes.
Yeah, we can actually deduce that in what should be the next scene.
I thought we had a sign on the door that said no old forts.
Wow, I don't know how to take that personally. On that note, Sir Dallin, You and Sir Medwin are there. Medwin, I believe, is the second for Sir Everhart, so he'll be kitted up as well, just in case.
Yes, as expected.
Yes. And Dallin, anything in particular you would like to note or address? Or perhaps even attempt to execute? Not execute, attempt to accomplish?
Yeah, Medwin, I'm pretty sure, is giving some serious death glare to people on the other side.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. Alright. Lastly, Sir Everhart, I'm assuming you're in full armor, etc., etc.
Mhm.
Any...
And-
Go ahead.
And instead of the traditional skull cap that most of the knights, because remember we're not full helms yet, but instead
Yeah.
of the skull caps that the other fellows are wearing, I'm wearing
These...
the modified legionary helmet.
Yes. Yep. Okay. It's about now that Duke Ulfius stands. My friends, my king, and our gathered witnesses, I ask that these two knights reflect upon themselves and the conditions by which we have all arrived here, and wonder that there be no better way to solve this contention than this. Surely modesty or forgiveness can still take hold, and we need not resort to steel to settle our differences. And he looks to Enric, and he looks to Everhart to determine their responses.
I raise my hand and I say, your knight drew steel and brought this dishonor upon himself.
Oh shit, Everhart's standing up to a duke. Oh, I wonder how that's gonna work out for him.
Well, he just accused me of being dishonorable by starting a fight.
No. Are you saying Ulfius said that you were dishonorable for starting a fight?
Yeah, he basically just said, hey, you're trying to pick a fight, which his knight was the one who drew steel. So I'm just setting the record straight that I'm responding to an insult from the host.
Okay. I think, to be clear, the intention, if I misspoke somewhere along the way, I apologize, but my intention here was for Ulfius to basically be like, listen, we really don't have to do this. This is your last chance, because unless you guys, come up with a better idea, this is what's going to happen.
But he also kind of did this with things. He's the guy going, can we find a peaceful solution?
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's basically what he's trying to say.
Yeah, to his knight picking a fight.
Yeah. In that which case, Enric absolutely is refusing to back down. There may or may not be a subtle shifting of his expression on his face for those paying enough attention. It may shift from one side to another and then back again, really kind of quick. The king himself is actually kind of confused for about a half second or so, and notices, then he notices that nobody's really backing down from this, and he kind of gets like a bit of a smirk. He's like, all right, cool, I get to see some action. At which point, Ulfius kind of slumps a little bit, because he really was trying to be the peacemaker here. But then, because he's such a prominent figure in the kingdom, he catches himself, composes himself, and he says, if it be your will to remain true to this course, then so shall it be, and may God in his divine sight be the final judge to this matter. And that, I am not going to bring any, we don't need any figures out on the table. This is basically going to be what I hope to be a couple of quick opposed tests.
Whoever draws blood first, right?
Yeah, first blood. So basically, whoever causes any damage at first, any actual wounding will have won the duel.
Interesting. I'll see.
So not just damage, but an actual wound.
Well, I mean, even 1 point of damage to your, reducing your hit points by 1 is a wound. So.
Well, he said the first to draw blood, and we're wearing armor, and so just because somebody gets a bruise doesn't mean that they've drawn blood.
I mean, we can argue, like Enric is kind of okay.
I'm not necessarily arguing.
No. I this was actually in my notes because I think I was gonna look at it. Do we want to bump this up a notch? Because so the way I have this pictured, mechanically speaking, the first one to cause damage to the other wins the duel. We can change that to basically there's 3 levels in my head. The first one to cause damage, the first one to knock the other opponent out, and to the death. I imagine to the death is not the best way to go about this.
If I could introduce it, essentially, like we could be trading blows through armor, in which case the first visible wound would be somebody falling over unconscious.
Or even just a knockdown.
Correct. So I was gonna say either like a knockdown, or if somebody hits the other person hard enough to cause a wound, like clearly drawn blood.
Okay, I can live with that. So basically, knockdown or effectively, it'll be the first major wound. So for the record, I didn't create a figure for this fight. You will want to do.
Or the GM's discretion if it's enough HP damage that clearly blood would have been drawn.
Yeah. So for Sir Enric, 12 or more damage is a major wound. But that doesn't, now for the record, that doesn't necessarily mean he's gonna. So basically, it's gonna be like the first person to fall on her ass is gonna lose.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could, or obviously submit. You could always yield. Yeah. So basically, I'm gonna have a little bit of wiggle room as to when I will call the fight. And it will probably look something like Enric either yielding or pressing Everhart to yield. I think that will be the in-character cue. Now, obviously, Everhart doesn't have to yield, but if Enric is asking him to yield, it'll be something like, listen, we don't have to take this to this extreme over, what otherwise could be considered a relatively minor offense. I mean, it's not like he tried to abscond with your wife, that sort of thing. Although now that I said that out loud, I actually have an idea. Anyway, there is no initiative. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rev. You were about to say something.
I was gonna say, to my understanding of like courtly behavior, drawing a knife inside of a Lord's Hall, particularly under like the protection of the host, is essentially saying, "I'm going to kill you one day."
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is when he took the knife out and then slammed it on the table is definitely where the insult was made. And so at this point, you are effectively, at the very least, you're Roderick's champion in this matter. You also happen to have, indirectly, because nobody's specifically stepped forward to say or do anything, but you obviously have the support of the rest of the king's court. Because ultimately it was the king's court, or the king himself, that was offended. They're just allowing you to act as the executor of the will, I guess would be one way to look at it.
All right, so are we going to start the duel?
Yes, because we can talk about it all day long, but we need to eventually get to rolling some dice. So, before you do that, Sir Enric is going to take a moment. He's going to draw and lift his sword blade to the sky, the tip of the blade to the sky, directly towards Sir Blaine's. He is also going to make a loyalty Silchester roll. 15 is his score. Oh shit! He criticaled. Oh, ooh. Hold on, I gotta look at the critical rules. Just want to make sure. So first off,
I'm spending a reroll token for him to reroll.
His loyalty automatically goes.
Yes, his loyalty correctly. It does. He is now inspired and acts strongly. His skill is doubled or gains a plus 20 modifier. His sword skill is 36. So I will be rolling 1d20. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. His sword skill is 16. It is now a 36. Good luck.
Oh, God.
Because I'll be rolling 1d20 plus 26.
That's it. I'm spending a reroll token for him to reroll.
You may, of course, call upon your passions. And please, if you would, show us what that actually would look like.
You didn't for him, but
I did too. I said he drew his sword and lifted it up to the sky and called upon, he looked directly to his lord, Sir Blaine's of Levco Magnus.
I'm essentially performing a similar maneuver, except I am saying, for the wounded honor of the king, and for Silchester and Sir Roderick.
Indeed. For Silchester or Salisbury?
Sorry, Salisbury.
Okay. And you're calling on Fealty Lord Earl Roderick?
Yes.
Okay. Which you have at, 15, 16?
15.
Okay. Oof. Well, we'll talk about this after the duel. Oh, you're re-rolling. A good choice. Although I think that's one of your friends' What's it called? All right, so you'll have a plus 10.
Mine.
Yeah. Here, let me get one of yours. There you go. Resolved. All right. You will have a plus 10 on your rolls. I will have a plus, or excuse me, not a plus 10. You will have, what's your sword skill?
I thought you said it was a plus 10, but
Well, it's a
mine-
plus 10, but your skill is what?
15, so 25.
So, yeah, you'll roll 1d20 plus 5 when it comes to trying to figure out who actually rolled better. All right. On that note, the declaration phase, Sir Enric will waste no time once you have done your little salute.
How many rounds does inspiration last?
It will last for this fight.
Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah, normally I would roll 1d6, but it will last
But
for
you
this round.
critical, so you don't want to.
No, I wasn't. You know, honestly, I'll give you that. I'll roll 1d6 because of that, because I didn't even think about that, but I don't want you to think I'm trying to cheat or anything. So let's do. Well, for me, it'll last one round. I'm gonna grab this guy right here. So for the first round, he will have.
One good
I mean, that might be all I need.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't want to use that die. I want to use one of the black one. That shows up a little bit better. Go ahead and roll your 1d6 there, Rev. 2. It may or may not last this whole fight. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to copy and paste this one. Copy. Paste. Rotational value 2. And we're going to change the color to red. There we go. All right. Wow, that's a really good color red right there. Anyway, sorry. I will be rolling a plus 16 on my die. You're gonna roll plus 5 on yours.
I'm
Yep.
going to be fighting defensively for the first round.
Okay, so you'll be adding 15 to your roll. Make your roll, please. So I have a 31. To your 25. That gives me a success. You will have your shield. I have 5d6 damage. Oops.
Don't I get an additional bonus for fighting defensively for damage mitigation?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't believe so, because I think it just adds to your dice pool or whatever.
Yeah.
Alright, 5d6 damage incoming. 18 minus 16, you're going to take 2 points of damage. So I think somewhere along the way, Enric rushes in. There's a clanging of swords and shields, but ultimately he manages to get one in on you. Maybe he... You know, I think what happens is he has a really nasty slash, and it hits your shield arm, and it doesn't, like, cut or draw any blood or what have you, but it, like, knocks your shield arm out of position for a moment, and that's where that 2 points of damage comes in. Not quite enough to satisfy the need of drawing blood. And I now have my normal abilities, and you have one more round of plus 5 on your roll. Or rolling against a 25. Let's see, do I call upon his fealty to Ulfius, the actual Lord of... You know what? Actually, I didn't do this. Here's what I'm going to do. If I roll a 10 or higher on this 20, he is going to... Or excuse me, 11 or higher. He'll roll a passion there. What'd I roll? 13. Okay, yeah, I guess we're going to roll a passion. He's going to roll fealty to Duke Ulfius, which is actually at a 17.
But you've already done Fealty Lord.
He did loyalty Silchester. You know what? I'll allow that. Because in my notes it made perfect sense, but I can't quite explain what my thought process is now. Because, it's like several days later. So I'll just I'll go without passions. He has a sword of 16.
I was saying he can do a passion, just can't be Fealty Lord, because that's what he just did.
I mean, and I could argue using his honor, but his honor is actually in question right now. So would that, like, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't really make sense in my head.
Unless there was room for basis about the what he was saying.
Oh, as far as, like, the stuff he was saying, if it was true?
Yeah.
Which we know it's not, and he knows it's not. So really...
So the 6 was your
So
Was
then,
your
yeah, he
combat roll?
wouldn't be able to call upon it.
That was my attempted passions roll. I'm gonna roll my actual attack roll. I think what we see too is Enric is trying to keep pressing his advantage that he has at the moment and trying to get that one good hit in.
Well, if he was rolling honor, he just failed his honor roll.
No, he passed his honor roll because his honor would have been 15.
You just said, but he rolled a 6 though. He rolled under it.
Yeah, that's what you need.
Oh, right, my bad. You
Yeah.
don't roll under honor, you roll over, or you roll over to fail.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm not going to use any more passions for him for the rest of this fight.
So go ahead and do his combat roll then.
Yep. Rolling against a 16. That is a 4. I'm probably not going to survive or win. Go ahead and roll your 20 plus your. Are you still defensive rolling or defensive?
No.
All right, so that's a 12 plus 5. Actually, 15. It's obviously a success. Roll your damage. He'll have a shield.
Okay, so mine is a 66.
Really nice.
Mhm.
Oof. Nothing gets through. I think what we see is Enric has the advantage, and he's trying to find that opening to further exploit the advantage, but you manage to beat him back. And he probably takes a couple of good ringing blows to like his helmet or, chest or something like that, but his armor just simply absorbs all the impact. And your passion is now depleted as well. So regular combat rolls from here. Enric is going to continue pressing. He's he takes a couple of good telling blows, but nothing, registers as far as damage or blood or what have you, and he's just going to keep pushing back. Keeps attacking. And I rolled a 9. You are rolling against your straight skill, no passions. You said it was a 15?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure. And you get me by 2 points, so go ahead and roll your damage, and I will have my shield again. 23. He's going to take 7 points of damage, and that's hard to shrug off as a simple minor nick. I think what we see is, I think we see a slashing towards the neck, and it glances off, like a collar piece. Like, I know, like, the technical collar piece is called a gorget or gorget, depending on how you pronounce it. But I think what we see ends up happening is that in the movements of the sword and in the movements of Enric, the blade glances off the gorget and clears his face, but the pommel of the sword doesn't, and he starts bleeding, like almost excessively, in fact, because, of course, as people who've had a broken nose, no puns intended, a broken nose bleeds heavily at first.
So then my character would shout, "Do you yield?"
And yes, Enric is definitely, quite ashamedly, I might add, and we see Sir Guion kind of lurching forward as though he wants to get into the fight, but there is the third knight, who I never named, by the way, who just is holding him back, or no, he doesn't even hold him back. He just puts a hand on his shoulder and pulls a little bit. And he's like, "No, he lost. We have to let this go." So yeah, Enric yields. The crowd is happy. Let me see what I have in my notes for the after effect.
I'm gonna walk up.
Go ahead.
Kneel in front. I'm assuming there's a dais that has the Lord sitting at it.
Yeah, raised platform.
I'm going to walk to that and kneel in front of Sir Pendragon, and I'm going to say, "My king, your honor and your hospitality have been redeemed, and I sit here, your humble servant."
I think the king, impressed with the fight, or at least entertained, I should say, nods, and he thanks you. The king doesn't really have a whole lot more to say, but somebody else does. Sir Blaine's appears to have been watching the fight very closely. He stands from his seat, approaches Sir Everhard, and extends a hand to offer a handshake.
Sir Blaine, correct. I just want to confirm Sir Blaine's is, because I'm getting some things mixed up in my head.
Yeah, sure.
Sir Blaine's is question mark.
Sir Blaine's is the steward of Levcomagus, and Levcomagus
Okay, it's where the feast was. Correct. I just want
No. It's not where the feast was. Levkomagus is effectively the equivalent of Sarum, but for Silchester. So he holds Levkomagus as his own. Duke Ulfius is the lord of Silchester.
That's
So
why
yeah.
I'm getting confused. Like Blaine is so he would essentially be like one of the Castellans under Sir Roderick.
Effectively, yes. But he's obviously a very senior one because of the fact that, he's
Right.
the mayor of the capital city, more or less.
He's offering me a hand up.
Yes, to stand and to shake your hand.
Okay, I will accept.
In which case he says, "Perhaps it is best Enric here took your blade. Had you fought me..." Let me rephrase this. He takes your hand, helps you stand. There's some handshaking, and he leans in kind of close as other people are obviously kind of... There's a murmur, there's cheers a little bit, there's people talking and everything. And he leans in a little bit, and he says, "Perhaps it is best Enric here took your blade. Had you fought me, I think the outcome would have been significantly different. No matter. I hope this settles this case, and that we can continue to be the best of neighbors. Fortunately for you, the lands around Pitten remain yours." And he'll smile before he moves away from you to attend to his man, Enric.
As he moves away, I would say, the Lord decided the outcome of this based on what was just. Skill played but a minor part, and you would be wise to remember where we stand under his throne.
I think that's what I don't know if my mic picked that up, but I chuckled a little bit there, and I think that's what we get from Sir Blaine's as well. Is that just that little soft chuckle of like, I know better, but I'll let you have that one. Yeah, and I think at this point the group begins to disperse. Is there anything that the three of you would like to do before we move on to the next scene?
Nope.
So basically, I'm just enjoying the fact that Rev basically just walked in and kicked ass.
He did take a 2-point wound, but that'll clear up before you guys even get into the actual campaign. We can always pretend that we can always pretend that the duel was on Friday and it's now, Saturday. Or excuse me, the duel was on Saturday, and tomorrow that 2-point wound will disappear.
Well, chances are we're not immediately going from
No.
a feast to the campaign season.
No. One way or the other. By the time the campaign season begins, you won't have to worry about that, because it'll probably be like another week or two before you guys actually depart. Rev, go ahead and take 15 glory for winning the duel. Sir Dallin, you receive 10 because of your half-brother's involvement in the whole situation and you're witnessing the duel. And Vitamar, you receive 5 glory for witnessing the duel.
Yay.
We then progress a couple of weeks, unless anybody has anything they want to do before the campaign itself begins.
Not unless you had anything for us.
Not specifically, but, I didn't want to move right into the next scene without you guys having a moment in case, there was something. Rev, Rodance, is there anything you guys want to try to do or whatever?
I'm not causing any trouble this time. You're good.
I would as things are winding. There's a crowd for,
the Silchester side and a crowd for the Salisbury side.
So I'm basically going over to the Salisbury side, and not necessarily doing a little grandstanding, but like cheering on Salisbury itself. Maybe a rousing cheer for Sir Roderick, something like that.
Okay, yeah, that works.
For Salisbury, he really staked it to him.
Wow. I'm updating my notes. Give me half a second here.
Only 15 glory for winning a duel?
It wasn't even... Listen, the duel lasted, 3 rounds? Come on.
And I bloodied his nose in front of everybody.
Yeah, well, that's why you got 15. Alright. I think so. What we see is over the course of the next week or so is basically a bunch of preparation. The king has decreed that everybody will basically bring about 1/2 of their forces with them. Half will stay home, half will go campaigning. Everybody in, the Salisbury Knights will all join up in Sarum and then meet up with the rest of the Logris military and then head on off to Somerset. So zoom in a little bit here on the map if my scroll wheel would stop being goofy. Oh, other way. We head off towards Somerset. And there we meet with King Cadwy, who you guys will probably remember from last year. King Cadwy is the lord of the area, and we had to go and fight some water leapers. Sir Dallin took a grievous wound and was out of the season, or excuse me, out of Jesus Christ. Basically taking a not quite dirt nap for a few weeks, and then finally got up.
He was out of the season through the writer's strike.
Yes. King Cadwy. Neither King Cadwy nor his forces actually join up with Uther, however. The rest of Uther's people moves on towards Cornwall. King Cadwy kind of stays in his area to be something of a... What's the word I'm looking for here? Kind of a buffer, kind of a backup reserve, kind of a just guard your shit, we got this sort of deal.
But does he give us any cream eggs in support?
No. No. Stop. Jesus Christ. While en route towards Cornwall, it is determined that you guys will once again serve under Sir Amig. If you recall, Sir Amig was your knight commander at the Battle of Muircrest Creek, other than Sir Dallin, who I believe was still a squire that year, as far as our lore goes.
What about Vinemar? Was he in the retinue of?
He probably would have been in that formation, but as a lesser, he would have been like a state. What's the word I'm looking for? He would have been an extra on the stage. Somebody dressed up in some cardboard painted to look silver as his armor, that sort of thing. It is the evening prior to the battle, so basically, you guys been on the road for a few weeks. Not a few weeks. Like straight lining it, but you stop here for a few days and
I need a rest for an extra 2 days. No.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of what happens because you guys move along. It's kind of like the King's Progress. You guys move along. You stop for a few days here. You move further. You stop a few days here. It takes a little while. You got to wait for one portion of the Logres army to show up here. Some random knight and 20 men will meet up here, and then you got to send another party out to go scouting for a day. That sort of thing. So the movement is relatively slow despite the distance that you're going. But it is now at the point, and the rumor is, or the order is that at the morning muster, all forces will be lined up, prepared for battle. The enemy has been spotted. They are not that far away. We have arrived at the site of battle, etc., etc. Sir Amig has gathered up a few of his house knights, as well as you guys, in fact, and brought you together in a small clearing in the woods. There's a fire. It's nighttime. It's like, if you want a timeline, it's probably like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Everybody is basically putting some food together. There's a little bit of drinking, not heavy drinking because of the fight, but, there's a few drinks going around, water, beer. Well, not beer. It'd be more like ale or some shit. Sir Dallin. Sir Amig recognizes you specifically, recognizing your name from stories about Ibericum, and also the Giant Slayer, because I believe at one feast a song was actually composed about Dallin slaying the giant, and very specifically the inaction of, the side hustle of Sir Everhart versus Sir Farvel was left out of the song.
Side hustle would be making money, so it would be
the side not hustle.
The inconsequential tangent.
Yes, well, there were some consequences. Anyway, but yeah, so Amig, who is of course an older knight, he's probably actually probably something like Vidamar's age, but maybe a couple of years older. You know, so that they would almost be like from the same Squire group, almost as though, you know, like people from the same college will all graduate within a few years, and they know each other that way. So Amig will recognize Vidamar, of course, but he would definitely recognize Dallin specifically because of the Giant Slayer, and will come forward and clasp Dallin on the shoulder, commending you for that fight, both the Giant and the Nukalavi. Go ahead.
Is my brother in his ranks?
Around somewhere.
Okay.
Not necessarily in the campfire. He hasn't really called him up. He's looking for more like, because, you know, if you think about like the hierarchical structure, he is a Castellan, and he has his house knights directly subservient to him, which kind of, sort of, but not really puts those house knights almost on the same level as you guys, who are vassal knights. But you guys are also subservient to Amig, if that makes any sense at all. And then Seth.
I was thinking my brother might have stayed behind essentially since he was in charge of an area.
He could.
He was here or not.
We can argue one way or the other. He's not here in the campfire or at the campfire with you.
I'm not trying to argue one way or the other.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he came on campaign is what I was trying to ask.
Yeah, he could. We can always determine that later if it comes up, but definitely not currently in this scene. Amig has gathered all you guys up, and you know there's talk amongst your little group there, which is effectively Amig, his 6 knights that have names, but I didn't bother to update my notes so that they would have names for tonight, because they had names a few years ago. I don't remember what they are now.
Doing them like that? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. But anyway, the word is this, and this is Amig speaking, but I'm paraphrasing. The word is I got ahead of myself. I got to find my place here. Give me a second. Shh. The word is that King Uther has promised that any man who brings Gorlo's head will become a rich man indeed.
Okay. These people
Dead.
really like taking heads, man.
Well, listen, I haven't alluded too much to this, but there is a reason why this series of episodes is called A Father's Pride. I'll leave it at that for now, because more will be revealed in time. Yeah, that was your guys' cue to comment or respond or...
I'm okay.
I'm just sharpening my large two-handed axe.
Okay. Dallin?
Getting ready to set out and cause all kinds of trouble.
Okay.
Sounds like it's gonna be a fun season this year.
Alright, yeah. So Sir Amig sees that nobody's really overly rambunctious, I guess, or excited about the offer of becoming potentially rich if they find and kill Duke Gorlo. Who, go ahead.
No, visibly excited, just like, essentially, like, non-verbally, like, smiling, grinning from ear to ear, sharpening my axe.
I get to kill people. They're not Saxons, but these people will do.
These people stopped us from killing Saxons.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Okay, I see where you're coming from. Okay. So, essentially, Amig doesn't really get the feel that you guys are really terribly talkative, so he kind of starts talking about the battle strategy, and effectively what he's looking at is... I thought I had this written in here.
I'm stealing money from people before the fight begins.
You're
Not
stealing?
but I'm gambling. I'm gaming.
Oh,
against
okay.
people.
Oh, so you got some dice or something going on over in one group of
Probably.
cheese? Okay. Yeah, so I think what happens here is that of the formation that
I
Amig...
can imagine Vidamar's a pickpocket. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was a 49-year-old pickpocket swiping the pockets of the people that work directly for your boss in this fight.
Yeah.
That's not a smart move.
I mean,
He's doing the whole cup and ball hustle.
Yeah. He's got the 3 cups, 1 ball. God, that almost came out bad. I'll just stop right there.
I think you might need to stop before you get too far behind.
Yeah. I see what you did there, by the way. I think what he starts talking a little bit about what his intent is in the morning as far as strategy or what have you. And I think what he's looking at is he will. I'm sorry. Oh my god, that yawn came from nowhere. Huh?
Intent. I thought we were around the campfire.
No. In the morning, when it comes time to line up, he will be at the center of the formation with him, himself, his knights, and their men at arms, and he'll want Sir Everhart and your men at arms and house knights and whatnot. You will take the right, and you'll be linking up with a knight from Silchester. For the record, I did not put a name in here, but I know I specifically was like, definitely not someone like Sir Enric or Sir Guion, just because of the duel.
Yeah, I was like, can you?
We could call him Sir, yeah, well, Sir Gallet, I guess. I don't know.
He's got this big gaping axe wound in the back of his armor. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I dropped my axe, and when he stood up, it was in his back. I don't know what happened. Sir Dallin, you will be taking the left, and you'll be linking up with a knight from Hanton. Hanton, of course, is a port more or less directly south of Salisbury. For Sir Vitamar, Amig wants you and a group of knights and men-at-arms to basically form the rear of the formation. You guys will be a reserve force to be committed if needed. If the enemy lines are routed, you'll come in as kind of like cleanup, or if our own lines start faltering, then your forces will be pushed forward.
No, Vitamar is happy.
Yeah, well, I figured that. That's why I put Vitamar's ass in the rear with the gear. Anything else before you guys go to bed for the night?
I asked Everhart if he's willing to take my current squire out alongside his squire, so that he's not just in the back, not doing anything, gaining experience in a fight or whatever, considering he's a squire with his last year.
Oh yeah, we are just about that point, aren't we?
Yeah. It'd be sort of silly for him to not get experience out of this.
Are we going to be rolling for our other knights and squires, or is this just going to be how we do reflects how well our people are understood?
This will be a how you do reflects how everyone else around you does.
Okay. Then yeah, I can take your squire.
I think what we see. I'm sorry. Anybody else? Does anybody else want to do anything before you go to bed?
Nope, I don't got anything other than that. I'm just gaming again.
Okay.
Stealing more money.
Yeah, Sir Dallin.
Yeah, just making sure everything's all set up and nice and neat.
Okay.
My squire is over here begrudging any form of paperwork I might attempt to get a hand to her, so...
Yeah, no, that checks out. That because I feel like by now your squire's like, okay, there's a lot of men here that I could be enjoying myself with, but I know this is not going to work out for me.
Whoa. Hello.
I keep my squire super crazy busy, because I figured
Yep.
until she makes knighthood, she can go find herself a husband. She doesn't need to sleep around and end up with a Bible of some random ass dude.
Yep, exactly. And lastly, Sir Everhart, anything for you?
No, just I literally just misplaced my whetstone, or I would sharpen one of my knives for the microphone to auditorily demonstrate.
to give a little bit of ambiance.
Yeah.
Okay, before we...
I have nice sharpening blocks for my kitchen knives. I'm not dragging it out or watering it up and then sharpening a knife just for the sound effect.
That does sound like a little extra effort. I think before you guys do bed down for the night, we have a moment where Sir Gareth approaches Sir Dallin and Sir Everhart. And other than, the traditional greetings or what have you, I think what he brings up is like, hey, Sir Vitamar, we... No, he's asking Dallin and Everhart. Vitamar's not in this conversation yet.
Oh.
He says, Sir Vitamar, he is Farvel's uncle and currently master of Winterborn Gunnet in his name until his son comes of age. Is there any objections to bringing him into the what did you call it, Rev? The Order of Dead Men or something like that?
The Brotherhood of Dead Men.
The Dead Brothers. I think the Dead Brothers is an internal reference to the group. As opposed to like the full formal name.
I would just say the dead men.
Okay, yeah, that works. Do either of you have objections for bringing Sir Vitamar into the Dead Men?
No.
Sir Everhart? What say you?
We should stick him at the van of the battle. I think he means to kill. I just forgot Farwin.
You,
Um,
you were joking. I was like, wait a minute, that's completely 180 from everything that Vitamar's done on screen this point. What the fuck is going on here? What a cruel play that would be. Everhart turns out to be the villain.
Look at me. I am the villain.
You're right.
I'm gonna say he's conducted himself with honor in regards to. It is Farwin, right? Like I'm not getting that.
Farwin is the son, yes.
Yeah, he's conducted himself in honor with regards to laying Farvel to rest, and his treatment of Farwin
Indeed.
is
No, please, go on. I did not mean to interrupt.
no. That's basically what I was gonna say. That's keep it pretty short and sweet. That he has comported himself with honor, and not attempted to take the house for himself, as is often the custom.
This is actually one of the reasons why I think he would be an interesting addition to our little troop. He has indeed conducted himself well enough, one can argue, and the fact that he continues to honor his nephew's wishes by simply managing and not claiming Winterborn Gunnet. I've heard rumors, in fact, that Vitamar's own brother is not particularly happy about this. I see we have some auditory ambiance after all.
I found my whetstone. Sorry.
Of course.
And don't worry, Rodent. It is oiled. I'm not a cretin.
Good. It's about time to be a little concerned.
Well, shall I call him over, or shall we go over to him? He seems to be over there. Is he playing dice? He's dicing right now.
I say we conduct the tradition initiation ritual. We wait until he's sleeping, and then we get the sock and the soap.
I don't think they quite have sock and soap yet. I don't think socks were invented for quite a while yet.
Find the leggings.
The
Grab the,
leggings.
grab the hosiery and the lava block.
God.
All right, let's get back on track here. Sir Vitamar, if you would, why don't you come over and sit with us for a moment?
Sure.
Gareth actually takes a few seconds and looks around to Dallin and Everhart because he's not sure if the others want to speak first. There was no formal leadership set up for this little group, so he doesn't want to seem right off the bat as though he's the one in charge. Also, I'm the GM, so I think it should be one of you.
They're trying to make us talk.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I am. Fucking roleplay. It's a role-playing game.
Sir Vitamar, approach. We wish you to take a big gamble.
Oh, is it with money?
No,
Aw.
it is with your very soul.
Oh. As long as my life is not risked, I'm okay.
I gotta jump in with Gareth here. Gareth has a stupid smirk on his face, and he says, ironic that you chose those words. For this group, we are called the Brothers of Dead Men, or Brotherhood of Dead Men. The Brothers of Dead Men, wow.
I don't know about the rest
but
of you,
far-
but my brothers are all alive, so...
I was gonna say, like,
Well, that would have worked out for Farvel, because his brother died, but anyway.
well, no. Farvel died, but his brother's still alive, planning vengeance.
Well,
He had another brother that.
yeah.
died.
Anyway, no. So what
Another
Everhart?
mother?
No. Well, we'll talk about. We've talked about it before, but
Okay.
Sir Gareth has that stupid smirk on his face, and he says, ironic that you would choose those words. For we are the brotherhood of dead men. For we know that in time, all men must die. And you have proven to us that you are capable of continuing our beliefs. And we would wonder if you would mind joining our little troop.
Sure, but as long as it doesn't. Wait, hold on. I just say sure.
Okay.
He makes a remark about how he's almost a dead man anyway, because he's
Which
already
is
up there.
kind of the point.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, sir, that I brought this idea forward a year or so ago after your nephew died. When I realized that amongst the three of us, and he points at Dallin himself and Everhart, when I realized that the three of us had some form of connection to Sir Farvel. You being his uncle, the connection is much more obvious than anything that we could have had. It was in his memory that we formed this group, and it was in his memory that we named it thus, the Brotherhood of Dead Men. And it is in his memory and the memories of all that have come and gone, and the memories of those who will come and go, that we continue to serve. For all men must die. For all men must serve. I'm just saying. Valar Morghulis. Oh wait, that doesn't exist here yet. Not for quite some time.
And I basically say we're all dead men. We're just waiting on it to catch up to us.
Okay.
Gareth makes note that Vidomar seems a bit underwhelming now. All right. Anything else?
What, you mean Gareth makes a note that Vidomar seems underwhelming? Because you said it the other way around.
That's what I meant. Yes. What did I say?
You said Vidomar makes a note that Gareth seems underwhelming, and I was
yeah,
that's a
no.
bit of an odd
Yeah.
self-reflection.
Yeah, self-reflection through the eyes of another character that's not even my own. No, I totally fucked that one up if I did. Yeah, I think Gareth will do a quick little look around and see if Dallin or Everhart want to take the lead on this, because again, as the GM, I don't want to be the leader on this little group. We don't have an actual, initiation or welcoming sort of thing, but these things can start right here if you guys have a cool idea. I don't know. Strip Vidomar down to his undies and throw his ass in the water. I don't know. What is it that we do?
Fuck no.
I'm thinking that we should possibly over the winter, in less strenuous conditions, discuss the further formation of the group and establishing such rituals as this,
Yes.
as well as potential
So,
criteria
In the
for even.
meantime,
super secret meetings in the
Vidomar
winter?
offer.
All right, hold on. Let Dallin go, or Rodance go first, and then...
Yep.
Go ahead, Ro.
Yeah, our super secret meetings in the winter.
Super secret. You will not receive an invitation. You'll just know when to show up.
Yes.
I guess my character possibly would pull out like a rarely drunk bottle of wine and pour some for everyone,
Including Farvel?
including.
Because I don't know if I don't know when that tradition started, but we got to do at least a little bit of recognition for Farvel. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I hold up my glass and I say, for Farvel, for Vidomar, and the rest of the dead men.
Sir Gareth will definitely drink to that. From his ram's horn that he got from the Earl a couple years ago.
Vidomar drinks, and then ask game.
Game. You know what? You want a game? What's your gaming score? What's your gaming skill?
4, 5.
All right, roll it. Because Gareth will fucking gamble with you. I gotta find his character sheet though, because I'm pretty sure his score is pretty low too. Oh, he's got a 3.
Hey, what was my game? Hold on. Game. Not play. Oh, never mind. I had 7.
7. Impressive. All right. I'm going to roll, you roll. I got a 19.
3.
Oh, shit! Oh, I would have critical down to 3. My bad. I got confused. I got excited. I got ahead of myself. All right. Anybody else?
I say I'll give you a game. You see that burl on the tree over there, and I'll throw my axe at it.
Make an axe roll. 18. I don't think that
I
works.
think that's a fail.
I'm pretty sure that's a fail.
Yeah, that's a fail.
Yeah,
I'm
your
gonna-
axe.
do I-
So you're like, well, that's a whatever it was you just called out, and you chuck your axe at it, and it's clear that you're trying to do it, but like something happens, like in the rotation of the axe, it catches another tree branch somewhere in between, and just veers off 45 degrees to the other side, and then you hear somebody in the background that goes, "What the fuck was that?" Because of course it's dark out.
Well, clearly, I'm not going to throw my axe into the camp.
No, but somebody was out there taking a piss or something. You didn't actually hit him. Don't worry. You will have to go find your axe at some point. What were you rolling the 17 for?
Oh no, I accidentally clicked.
Oh, okay.
No, isn't that your? Aren't you throwing something?
Are
Why
you?
would I throw something? I
Are
was
you?
gaming.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh. Everhart was just trying to show off and nobody was amused. Alright. Anything else?
do I need to roll to go find my axe?
No, we'll retcon it or something. Hand wave it. Dallin. Anything for you?
I look around at these collection of people here and go,
These are my betters?
I guess we'll be working on that one. Hopefully it goes well.
Okay. Alright. In that case, you all go to bed with the thoughts of dead men and maybe somebody finding the head of Duke Gorlo. And that's it. We'll take a break. We'll come back in about 5 to 10 minutes and we'll find out what happens here at the Battle of wherever we are.
Ambush.
Wherever we are.
He will be laid Gorlo.
Oh, there you go. All right, my friends. Yeah, we'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Stick around and we'll get into the fight. Back in a few.